Okay, well, hello everybody. What time is it? It is just 12 o'clock for you all. It's 2 o'clock for me. I'm here in Austin. So good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is from wherever you are zooming in from. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you. This is Internships 101. Make the most of your internship. And I am Alexis from the UCLA Career Center. Yes, love Austin, stay weird. So let's talk about a little bit of logistics before we get started. Yes, this event is being recorded. So if you have to leave early, no worries. It will be uploaded within the next few days onto the UCLA Career Center's YouTube. I will also be sending out an email to every single person who's either here right now or who even RSVP'd on Handshake with the deck. And I pretty much always include a whole bunch of fun links depending upon what we talk about and questions that come up. So just know you're going to get a fun little package from me afterwards. I think those are most of the logistics other than, one more thing. So let's please just use the chat for questions. I'm not gonna be looking at the Q&A. It's just me sort of like managing all of this. So if I can just have that one box open, that's helpful. Now, if you have a question, but you don't know that you want to share it in the chat for everyone to see, that's okay. Absolutely, just send it to me as a DM. I'm still gonna see it and I will just respond to it on your behalf. Most of the time, if not all of the time, those questions are things other folks are wondering about as well. So you have those two options. Okay. And then one more thing, I shared where I am zooming in from, but I would love to see in the chat if you all can tell me where you are all zooming in from. So are you in India? Fantastic. Where else are folks zooming in from? LA. LA, nice. Okay, keep responding in the chat for me. Love to see it. Canada, yay. I'm actually a dual citizen, so hello, fellow Canadian. Fantastic. Okay. Oops. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do some more introductions while you all continue to introduce yourselves in the chat. So my name is Alexis Rampal, she, her. I am the Internships and Talent Development Manager at the UCLA Career Center. Absolutely, please do connect with me on LinkedIn. I love connecting with you all and seeing all of your updates. And now I am going to hand it over to Jessica. Jessica, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Herrera. Sorry you guys can't see my face, but there's a beautiful picture of here on me. Thank you so much, Alexis, for that. I am a second year history major, hopefully graduating 2023, and I am currently zooming from Westwood, but I am originally from the Central Coast, particularly this town called Soledad, kind of in the middle of nowhere, but love that town so much. So yeah.
Perfect. We're so glad to have you joining us today. So just so everyone knows, in case you didn't, the Career Center actually hosts interns in our office, a team of undergrads who are called the UCLA Career Peers, or we just call them Career Peers. And so Jessica is one of our newest career peers, and by participating and helping me with this event, she's also making the most of her internship with us. So glad to have you, Jessica. What I would love to have you do, Jessica, is definitely, like, if you have questions or you have things you want to respond to, do it in the chat or just unmute yourself and interrupt me. It's totally fine. And then I may just like ask you every once in a while, Jessica, to respond to a few things from your perspective. So that all depends. And then yes, go ahead and do what you said in the chat. That works for me. Okay. And so, yeah, we've finished introducing ourselves. I would love to hear again from you all in the chat. Who's here? What class level are you? What's your major? Anything like that. We'd just like to see from you all. So more info is helpful. It might, it also helps inform how I respond or the sort of materials that I share during the presentation. So let me know in the chat. We got Ivan, MPH, who else? Public affairs. Okay, awesome. Who else have we got with us? Another MP. Oh, hey, okay, I love it. MPH in the house. Wow, public health is showing up. All right. Dang, okay. And then we've got second year psych major, hoping that minor education, fantastic. All righty, lovely to meet you all. I'm so glad you're here. Lovely to meet you. All right, and hopefully, Jessica's back. Okay, great. Okay, so again, welcome to Internships 101. This is one of 4 that belong to the Internships 101 series. This is a new series. We sort of like beta tested it in fall and then launched it fully in winter. So this is really only the second quarter of me sort of like facilitating these. And so here are the others that belong to this series. There's Internships 101. So that's sort of like very basics. What is an internship? What are my rights? What should I know about them? How do I look for them? Things like that. Successfully navigate your remote internship is much more focused on being an intern, but in the remote workspace. We did offer it in winter. It didn't make it on YouTube for some reason, so we're going to do another one and put that one on YouTube. Today, make the most of your internships. So absolutely, winter's recording is there. I've switched up the content quite a bit though. So both recordings will be on YouTube. And then we also partner with the Center for Community Engagement to bring you internship courses at UCLA, which is where we just talk about how do you know if your internship is eligible for course credit? What are the benefits of enrolling in an internship course? Questions like that. And so that will be coming up in about 2 weeks. So go ahead and find that one on Handshake and RSVP. And as I mentioned, we record these, but the Career Center, just so you all know, records pretty much every event that we do, especially since we all went remote. So our YouTube channel is rich with awesome recordings. So feel free to go over there and peruse the content whenever you would like. Okay. So more things that I would like to know about all of you. So please respond in the chat. I would just want to know, which are you? You can be 1, 2, all of the above, but yeah, pop into the chat which letters you are. Just want to know, did you already have an internship? Is it over? Are you interning right now? Okay, so we've got some, I'm internship curious. I'm currently interning. I have an internship lined up. Congratulations, I love seeing all these C's, how exciting. I'm looking for an internship, fantastic. There's so many internships that are recruiting right now. So perfect time to be looking. Awesome, this is great. So I love to see that we have a pretty nice variety of folks at all stages of what I'm calling my like internship spectrum. It's wonderful, I'm glad you're all here, good for you. So this is also helpful for me as we progress through the content so that I can speak directly to where you are all at. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about make the most of your internship. However, for those of you that don't have one yet, or you're looking very curious, there's so much work that goes into everything before you start the internship. So just want to take a moment and make sure you take a moment too to acknowledge all that hard work when you do land that internship. That is such a huge accomplishment. So congratulations. But really what we're talking about today is, okay, so I got the internship, now what do I do? So we're going to talk about pursuing an internship with intention and with purpose. Okay, so a couple of things to just sort of acknowledge is internships are all going to be different. No internship is going to be the same. And because of that, and because you're not the one who's in control of that, we're just going to talk about focusing on what you as the intern are able to control. So a couple of things to consider. Internships absolutely can lack structure. So especially for us who are taking courses, we're current college students, we go into a class, We get a syllabus hopefully ahead of time sometimes. We know what's coming. We know the whole plan for the quarter. Some internships may do something very similar. A lot of them do. But some, they may never have hosted an intern before. They just may be more organic. We don't know. And so absolutely, who knows what it's going to look like. And so how you structure your time and how you put yourself into the driver's seat to make the most of that opportunity can be up to you. Yes, so as I already said, not all internships look the same. And that varies on so many different things. So the size of the company, the industry that they're in, the our audience, like who is in the internships. Do they have a special internship for first year students? Is this more of like an advanced, very specialized niche internship for grad students? Are you the only intern at the company? Are you part of a massive intern cohort? And that's just on the intern side. The other side of the thing is, how much budget do they have allocated to this? What sort of dedicated staff do they have to running the program? How many times have they run an internship program before? And so there's so many different variables around that. And so again, you're just going to encounter what you encounter depending upon so many variables. And what we're talking about today is, what can you control? The last thing I want to discuss is, I don't think that any of us necessarily expected this, but not all internships end with an offer. Sometimes we don't want an offer anyway, which is fine. Part of the purpose of interning is to check it out. Check out the company, check out the industry, check out the type of role, check out the skills that you need to do. What type of work do you actually do? One thing that I will share though is that conversion rates. So what I mean by that is, when you're an intern and you get offered full-time by the company that you intern for, that means they're converting you over from intern to full-time. So there's a lot of data out there on conversion rates. And from 2020 especially, conversion rates are higher than ever. They're still not guaranteed, but they're higher than ever. And the reason that that is of course, COVID and going remote has definitely impacted the way companies recruit and how they access talent. And talent is you all. And so absolutely, they are looking at their interns as their in-house talent they already have, and going, wow, we have this amazing talent pool already who's already gone through an internship with us. How many of these folks can we bring in to fill openings that we have? So just something to think about as you are progressing through an internship experience. And again, I just want to say, you do not need to wait until the end of today's content to ask questions. Absolutely, this can be very conversational. I actually like when people are asking questions and adding commentary into the chat. It is very helpful. So feel free, don't wait. Let it all out whenever you want. Okay, so goal setting. This is a recommendation from me to you, and pretty much from every article you'll ever see on the internet about how to make the most of my internship. Well, this is set some goals. And so we're going to talk about, well, why should I set some goals during my internship? Don't I just show up and they just tell me what I do? And again, going back to what we just talked about, not every internship experience is going to be the same, and the quality can also range. And so we want to make sure that you are getting as much as you can out of that experience, no matter what. And so if you are taking the time to set goals for yourself, they're helping guide your purpose through the experience. They're helping you bring focus to actions that you take. So like, why did you do this versus that? So why did you decide to, for example, reach out to some folks to ask them for coffee chats versus just organizing your inbox for an hour, for example, right? There's a reason and a purpose for that. And it ties back to a goal that you have for yourself. And again, theme of the whole presentation is goals empower you to make the most of your internship. And so this little box here is a helpful guide to think about how you might frame your goals. So we look through perspectives. One perspective is, I'm setting goals that are going to help me add value and stand out as an intern at this company. Great, that's what we want to do. Another perspective is, well, no matter what, I have things that I want to get out of this internship too. No matter if I end up working for this company or decide to become a graphic designer, there's things that I can get out of this that are important to me. So what are those goals? And they can be the same, like they can also add value and help you stand out, but these are just two different ways to look at them. The other way to look at goals is, well, what type of goals? And so we're actually going to dive into these goal types: skill development, networking, and personal brand. So that's what we're going to talk about next. All right. So skills, so important. One of the biggest opportunities that internships offer is for you to be exposed to, learn, develop, strengthen, enhance relevant skills, either broad skills that can be applied to other positions or specific skills to that role, that industry, etc. And so these are the type of goals that you're going to want to set that focus on helping you identify what those are, and then focus on doing that, right? And so here's some really great examples. And see how these are formatted. So there's an identifier of like, well, what is the thing that I want to work on, and how am I going to know that I achieved this goal? And so, yeah, for an example, I want to learn Java. And how am I going to know that I am fairly proficient in it? Well, I'm going to demonstrate that by doing this thing. So those are a few examples for you. Hopefully that's helpful, but do let me know if you have any questions. The next type of goal is networking goals. And again, internships, I think the two big perks, the first one we talked about, which is that opportunity to gain skills and experience. The second, absolutely, is building your network. And so you want to take advantage of every opportunity possible to meet as many folks as you can, starting from, if there are any, your fellow interns. Other folks to reach out to are there other alum from UCLA that are there? Those are easy folks to connect to. What about your supervisor or the team that you're sitting with? Those are folks to connect with. If you're sitting in meetings or sitting on cross-functional committees or action teams or whatever they call it, these are folks to connect to. And then also, depending upon, say you're interning in like one area, but you're like, ooh, I really think I want to maybe try that out next. Who do you talk to? Start with your supervisor. Say, hey, I'd really love to chat to people over there so I can learn a little bit more about that. And so absolutely set some goals for connecting with folks at the company. Here are some really great examples. I like the schedule an informational interview with 2 people at the company each week. Personally, when I've been in new positions at different universities, and I was the new kid on the block, that was a goal that I set for myself, is I made sure that I invited one new person to lunch at least once per week. I'm an introvert, so that was good for me. Just so that we could chat and I could get to know them and also see, well, how does our work complement each other and build relationships? Because ultimately relationships are everything. And so the more people know you, they become familiar with your work and they see how maybe you all can work together on things. The more likely they're also to become champions for you and advocates for you in the company and also outside the company. You can leverage their extended network as well. But they're also potentially able to become a mentor for you, which is someone who can guide you both during your time at the company and beyond. So this one is a huge one, definitely want to emphasize. Okay, third goal perspective is your personal brand. So this is all about establishing yourself as an up-and-coming young professional in the field or space of your choice. And so this looks like, posting on LinkedIn, stepping up into like stretch assignments, really putting yourself out there and building a brand is like, I'm here, I'm in this space, and I am showing initiative by doing this, or I read this article and I have some thoughts on that. And so really try and include this both during your internship, but also afterwards as you continue to explore your career path, build your network, and then sort of like navigate through what is it you want to do. Having a strong personal brand is super helpful as far as, again, like going back to personal brand also ties into reputation. So back to that networking, like what do people think of when they think of you? They think of that person's amazing, their work quality is awesome, they step up and show initiative, but also like they are very interested and engaged and enthusiastic about this space. I am so excited to work with this person. I'm curious about this person. I want to know more about them. I'm excited to connect with them, etc. So this is what we want. We have a very quiet chat, which is okay. However, again, I definitely encourage you to ask questions or just share your thoughts. We're gonna just check in right now, and I'm gonna challenge you to participate in this activity with me. And Jessica, I'm gonna challenge you as well. I might even ask you to share. So everyone just take a moment, write it down. If you have an upcoming internship, think about that internship. If your internship is over, think about maybe a goal you would have set for yourself during the internship, or maybe a personal brand or networking goal that maybe you haven't yet followed up with someone, or you haven't yet connected with somebody. And then if you're still looking, which is also fine, or you're internship curious, just think about an internship that you will have and some goals that you'll have for yourself. And yes, please, if you would like to, I would love to see what those goals are in the chat. I'd love to see this. So building research skills, perfect. That sounds like a skill development goal. So good for you. Meeting new people, yes, networking goal. Jessica, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you have any goals that you would like to share, either related to your current internship or a future internship of your dreams?
Yeah, I have a goal right now. For this particular internship, I would like to perfect my master resume. So I'm gonna use like what's left of my time here to start perfecting my resume and asking my supervisors because they're very knowledgeable. And yeah, that's my current goal.
That is a wonderful goal to have for you, but also for anyone in any internship, is to update your resume. You're going to do so much during your internship, and we're going to talk about how you can keep track of that during the content today. But I'm so glad you brought that up, Jessica. Let's see what some folks have shared in the chat. So, okay, more Sabrina, establishing professional connections. Woo! Your goal is to make solid connections with community partners of the organization I will be interning for. That is that is a very good goal. I like how structured it is and how explicit it is. It's not very broad, and so again, like the more specific you can make your goals, the better. So kudos to you, Sabrina. Akshat says learning financial analytical skills. Absolutely. So that's a very specific skill that you've identified, and this will help you because you have focus. Bill, learning more about the career process. Absolutely. So when we want to learn more about the process of maybe that career path, this is where those coffee chats can be so helpful. When you just ask people to share about, like, what was your path? What was your career journey? Like, how did you go from here to here? People love to talk about themselves, and you can also learn a lot from them while they talk. Claire says, meeting experts in the field. And Jacqueline says, increase my research skills and work on building coalitions and a network with politicians of the LA County area. Ooh, gold star. That is a super awesome goal. I feel like you hit all three of the types in one. So good for you. Thanks everyone for participating. It's just nice to see all of your goals, and I am cheering for you to accomplish those during your upcoming and future internships. One last one we've got here. Chavni says, understanding the skills you do have that you didn't know and expanding further skills. That is some high level reflection right there. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. What if you don't know what you don't know, right? And so again, part of an internship is probably going to be revealing lots of things, concepts, terminology, ways of doing things, processes, et cetera, that you weren't aware of. And so when you are going through your internship, you're going to shift and update your goals as you learn more. Okay, so we're going to talk about some tips of what you're going to be doing before, during, and after the internship to make the most of it. Just doing a quick time check to make sure I'm doing all right. I'm good. Okay, so before your internship, not too complicated. If you already had some connections at the company, you maybe conducted some coffee chats, some informational interviews, you connected with a recruiter in an info session and they really supported you through your selection process, those are the folks to reach out to and thank and update and invite them to celebrate with you, right? You're so excited to work at the company as an intern. And these folks would love to hear this news if they were part of your journey to joining the company. You're gonna make their day. So absolutely do that. That's also a great way to start the foundation of having great long-lasting relationships with these folks and turning them into those champions, advocates, and maybe mentors for you. It's always fun to announce that you got an internship on LinkedIn and or you are an incoming intern at XYZ company. It is absolutely okay to say incoming intern at blah, blah, blah company, and you can put that on LinkedIn before you start. Again, it's good for personal branding if you think about those goals, but it's also really awesome for companies because they're getting free positive advertising from the fact that you are posting about this, that you're excited about it, that you're going to be interning with them. It is free, good word of mouth for them to everyone in your network, and then just to whoever sees it on the feed. So win-win for everyone. And yeah, get ready to go to work. So establish that workspace, figure out what your schedule is, set yourself up for success. Okay, so during the internship, there's a lot here. We're going to chat through it a little bit. Some of it's self-explanatory. But yes, so you're definitely, again, we're emphasizing this so much, build your network. And so the company may provide some of this already. They may organize events, orientations, networking, learn at lunches, etc. Go to those within your comfort zone. If there are any that are required, of course, attend those. I say, especially like as I identified myself as an introvert, even if you're shy or you're an introvert or whatever it is, still encourage you to push yourself through your comfort zone and go ahead and attend those. Just make sure you're practicing your self-care outside of work times. Again, it's always up to you, but we want to make the most of this experience. And so these are experiences, especially when they're more casual and social, where folks can get to know you and you can organically build that network and get to know people. Okay. So check-ins and one-on-ones. Jessica knows this from experience. They're super important. Check-ins are good for just day-to-day, like updates on progress, questions, clarity. And then one-on-ones, if your supervisor isn't offering to have them with you, then you can ask about that. We in the Career Center do them frequently. We say when we're having them, but we also invite to have like one-off casuals as well. And that's where you can really focus and come in with, I'd love to get some feedback from you. These are some of the goals that I have. Here's some experiences I'd like to have. Also ask them, like, what is it that you are looking for out of me? How can I stand out as an intern? If you don't have things to work on, this is a time when you can pitch ideas or also say, hey, I'm really interested in getting experience in this or this. Do you have any ideas of how I could do that? So Jessica, I'm going to put you on the spot again and just say, can you talk a little bit about what it's been like to have one-on-ones and to do check-ins and what that looked like for you as a remote intern?
Yeah, at first I know they may seem a little bit intimidating because you are just having like a conversation with your supervisor, and that in itself can seem intimidating. But I would use this time to just be very open about how you are like either having issues in like certain areas and need clarifications, or you would like to develop somewhere. Maybe take the time to share what your goals are. And they're really good times, and you should really value them because usually your supervisors are very busy. So to make a one-on-one meeting with you is pretty huge of them. Um, so yeah, just taking advantage of it because it's a great opportunity.
Oh, thanks for sharing, Jessica. So yes, take Jessica's word for it. One-on-ones are important. Okay, so this next section, maximize learning, demonstrate initiative, and follow through. So as we talked about a little bit earlier, internships can vary, and also there may not be a lot of structure. So what that might end up looking like is you may not always have something to work on, or you may be assigned something and no one checks in with you on it and you're like, well, I'm done. So really it's on you to step up to that plate and communicate, demonstrate initiative, and follow through. The other thing that I think is interesting about an internship versus schooling is that schooling is so formalized and structured, and the way that you're assessed is letter grades and tests, and it's very like you will get an A if you do this. That's not how the world of work is. So in the world of work, you make mistakes, you try new things, you experiment, and also all of that is normal and okay. And so they're not expecting you to be perfect, to know everything, and to not mess things up. And so, especially because I've been managing interns at UCLA for 4 years now, when we have new folks come in, it's always top of mind for them is stressing themselves out about, I don't know all this yet. I'm not contributing enough. I'm afraid I'm going to break this, so I'm not even going to try. No. So if you're having any of those thoughts, process them through with someone that you feel comfortable with processing it through with. It can be someone at home, it can be friends, someone in your social network. It can also be with your supervisor or fellow interns. As I've shared as a current intern supervisor, this is something that I'm absolutely familiar with and love to work with interns as they push through that. And so just dive into the ambiguity. That's part of the way that work is, and being able to become comfortable with ambiguity and understand that, like, just because they said they gave you an assignment, they want you to finish it by next Friday, doesn't mean that like it absolutely needs to be due that time. If there are things out of your control that meant that you couldn't, but what you do need to do is communicate. So that's where those check-ins are so important. That's where asking questions and seeking clarity is so important. And that's where providing updates and also saying, hey, supervisor, I'm working on this thing. I think it's due next Friday. I've come across a couple of these hurdles. I'm wondering if you can help me figure out, is there a resource that I don't know about? Is there someone I'm supposed to meet with? I'm waiting on something from someone and they can't get it to me by that deadline. So I just want to update you and make sure that's okay. If you do that, you're going to be golden. If you don't do that, just don't do that. Communicate, update often. All right. And so, yeah, I mean, oops, let's go back. Oh, I'm going all over the place. Preview. You're just going to also want to use the intern time to practice any and all skills that you want to develop. But a huge one is collaborating with others. You may very well be put into teams with other interns or other folks on the team that you're interning with, teams across the company. Also, you may be working with clients or folks that don't even work for the company. And so these are fantastic opportunities to observe and learn, what does collaborating like that in this space look and feel like. Jump into that. The other thing is as we've mentioned, volunteer and pitch things. It demonstrates initiative, especially if you don't have stuff that they've assigned to you. Again, it makes you look really good. That's part of your personal branding. It's also how you're demonstrating your value to the company. They're seeing what your work ethic is. Okay, that's a good tip for me. All right. And then last but not least, again, going back to like, what are you getting out of this and how are you being in the driver's seat and making sure you get the most out of the internship is track stuff. So track stuff that you're learning at the company. What resources are they sharing with you? What committees are you sitting on? Like, what are they talking about? Does someone say something you don't know anything about? Go look that up. Connect with folks in all these meetings. Like when I go into meetings, UCLA is huge and complicated. So when I go into meetings with folks at UCLA, a lot of times I've never met them before. I write down all their names. I look them up on LinkedIn. I connect with them. So yeah, do the same. It's a good habit to get in, whether you're an intern or not. Use the time to also refer back to your goals, track and update. As Chavni mentioned, you may become exposed to things you didn't know about. And you're like, ooh, I really need to learn about that. Or, ooh, I really want to sit on that committee, or I want to sit into that meeting, or I want to attend that webinar. So update your goals. And then if you can, yeah, use something that works for you to track all of this information. Maybe you like to use a journal. Maybe you like to use a spreadsheet. I'm a fan of Trello, so I put everything on a Trello board. It is absolutely up to you. Okay, so let's go on to after the internship. So once the internship is over, one thing I definitely want to encourage you all to do is reflect on it. You don't have to wait until the internship is over. You can start doing this from day one if you want also. However, don't leave this part out. So reflecting on the experience, how have your preferences and your interests regarding future companies, cultures, and roles changed? Based on your experience at the company, you could have decided, well, I thought I wanted to work for a really big company, but after interning at one, I felt like I was just a number and I didn't like it. Or I felt like we were too pigeonholed into like a really little space of what to work on. And I want to work on more variety. Just an example. And then the other thing that's really great about internships is they help you determine, again, like what you like or what you thought you'd like, but also help you identify things that you don't like. And some of these things may be things that you were aware of before or things you came across during the experience that you didn't even know existed. And you're like, oh, okay, so I don't want that anymore. And like, if I just speak personally, I know I don't like to do a lot of salesy type things. And so if I interned at a company where they had me doing that, Alexis probably wouldn't have liked that and wouldn't have wanted to intern or apply at future companies that had that as part of the responsibilities of the role. Jessica, I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Would love to just see if there's any reflections that you can share after having a little bit of internship experience. Is there anything that you'd like to share or reflection that you have?
Yeah, give me a moment. I'm trying to think about. Okay, I would say. Sorry, like, just to clarify the question, any reflections I have about my current experience and how it's going to tie to my future, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's anything that you like, and this applies to everyone who's here. So you're having an internship experience, you're being exposed to like how we work, how we collaborate, the type of work that we do, the type of skills, and it's helping you decide, well, do I like this? Do I want to do something like this in the future? Is there something that I don't like that I definitely don't want to be part of my next experience? So anything like that, Jessica, would be great to hear.
Yeah, well, I've really enjoyed personally like learning about resume building. It's something that I would want to continue doing even outside this like internship ends in some way or form. I personally have this like alumni network um at my hometown, and I was thinking maybe, oh, maybe I could host like or help certain people with their resume. So certain skills like that I have wanted to continue outside, um, because yeah, sometimes people randomly ask for help, and I want to be prepared enough to like help them. So yeah, that's, I don't know if that answered the question quite correctly, but yeah.
There was no correct answer because it's a personal reflection. So thank you so much for sharing. Folks who are attending, isn't it nice to hear that some of the skills that we pick up during an internship or a job, they not only benefit us and benefit the company, but they can benefit people that we know and care about. And so I love that you shared that, Jessica. If anyone would like to share any reflections that they have had from previous or current internships experience, would love to see that in the chat. Just nice to see. And so in addition to the reflection piece, which I absolutely encourage, as I said, you all to do, is some of that personal branding and skill goals stuff. And so absolutely you want to be a gracious intern and enter as well as you, or exit as well as you entered the experience. So make sure you're thanking folks. This can look like, again, depending upon if you are interning in person or you're a virtual intern. I've had interns give me handwritten cards, which are so sweet, or send me an email, or they send me an e-card. Anything like that is really nice. Thank anyone who you think you want to thank. And yeah, absolutely keep in touch with folks via email and LinkedIn. People are going to be curious and they're going to want to see like where do you end up next. And then also you never know down the line in the future how these connections may be beneficial to you. And so they might know folks that you want them to connect you to. You may, go off and do other things for a few years and then be like, ooh, I really want to go back to that company. They've got a couple of jobs I'm interested in. So those folks are always going to be there, again, to be your champions and your advocates, whether you work for them or not. So definitely recommend that. I'm just looking in the chat. So Jacqueline shared, I learned how valuable it was to have a one-on-one with the main investigator of the research project to my actual growth. Yes, so if you are able to spend time with someone who is leading or heading or working on something that you are very interested in, to talk to them about the work, to talk to them about their experience, talk about any advice that they have, that is invaluable and priceless. And definitely, I think, like one of the major things you want to try and get out of any internship experience. So thank you so much for sharing that. So yes, thanking people, add your experience to your resume, right? Definitely put that on there, be proud of it. And if you haven't already, add it to your LinkedIn. And then additionally, to go with your personal branding goals, is I see a lot of interns sharing like a reflection / gratitude post on LinkedIn, which almost always gets a lot of love. And it's a really great way to establish yourself as an up and coming professional, to thank, to do some personal branding, to state all the awesome things that you learned that you're now really good at. And companies love it. Again, it is great positive branding for them to have their interns posting about how much they got out of the experience. So if you feel like doing that, go for it. And here is a perfect example of what that can look like. So Vanshika is actually a current career peer intern at the UCLA Career Center, but she also was a assurance intern for EY over the summer. And so this is, I literally just screenshotted this from LinkedIn. She's okay with it. This is what she posted to culminate what her experience was like. And as you can see, look at all that love. There are 84 likes and 18 comments. That's awesome. And see how she's basically including everything that we've talked about in this post. So, pro tip, Try it out. You're going to get the deck so you can look at this, keep it in mind for later. But also connect with your other peers at UCLA. They're also going to be interning, and you're going to see the way that they're handling this as well. So you can get ideas, and then you can create a post that is authentic to you if you decide you want to do it. Okay, so we have got through pretty much the content. I'm just going to go over some tips for you all and encourage you to ask questions in the chat, please. So some search tips for my folks that are looking or internship curious. So Handshake, Handshake, Handshake. If you are not active on Handshake, definitely get on there. Now is the time. I think it was only maybe a week or two ago, I put on LinkedIn, we got close to 100 new paid internship postings. That is not irregular for UCLA. We are a top target school for companies to recruit from. They want you. So we are getting new posts daily. So when you're on Handshake, keep your profile updated. The more you tell Handshake, the more it's going to serve up positions and opportunities that you will be interested in. Handshake is smart like that. So take advantage of the algorithm so it does the work for you. And then as I shared, we get new opportunities daily, so check frequently. I'm just looking at the chat here. So Pratiti said, how do we find the fellow interns in our company from UCLA? Great question. There's a couple different ways I can think of. One would be, it depends on like the program, but the recruiter, they may just tell you. They may just tell you because you're part of an intern class or an intern cohort. And they may also just like encourage you all to meet each other beforehand. There's probably like a Google Doc or a roster or whatever, or you're all going to meet each other during orientation. And so some of that work's going to be done for you. The other thing you can do is you can just ask. You can ask your recruiter or your supervisor, are there any interns here? You can also just search on LinkedIn and just see if anyone has shared or posted that they're interning there. And you do that in two different ways. I think the fastest way is to go to the company on LinkedIn and then click on people. And in the search, you can type UCLA, and then everyone from UCLA who's at that company either now or in the past will show up, and then you can just sort of search through there. So those are a couple different ways that you can do that. Yeah, back to LinkedIn. So some internship search tips for me on that is if there are companies in the industry or the space that you're interested in, recommend that you search them on LinkedIn and then click follow. Once you click follow, they're going to start populating in your feed. And also when you click follow, LinkedIn will recommend similar companies in the same space. Maybe you never heard of them. Great, follow those too. Pro tip next is go to the company page, click on people, type in the search recruiter. Then you're going to come up with a list of all the folks that are recruiters for that company. It is literally those folks' job to fill available positions, including recruiters. And so if they're doing their job, they are posting everywhere that they have just opened up their interns or they're recruiting for interns, blah, 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 blah. And so if you see those people, go ahead and click on their profile. You don't have to connect with them. Just click on the little dot, 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 and you can click on follow. You get all the same perks of being connected with someone without actually being connected with them. And so then you're going to see their content as well, including when they announce, oh, we're hiring for our summer interns, whatever. So definitely recommend that. And then later on, once you become more familiar with their postings and like their background, that's when you can send a connection request and be like, hey, I've been following you for a while. Super excited about the fact that you all are recruiting for interns. I really love to chat with you about opportunities there, right? And so that's how you sort of open that door for that connection. Some other recommendations. So utilize UCLA One. If you haven't heard of it, it is basically the LinkedIn for UCLA. So anyone who is part of the UCLA community is on there. Folks who are on there, primarily alum, are very open and willing to connect with you, to mentor you, to talk to you about opportunities and share anything that they want. If your department does newsletters, subscribe to them. A lot of times these UCLA staff folks are connected in the industry as well. And they're just sending out a newsletter with like, here's some great internships. Again, let people do the work for you. Attend company info sessions. So these are still happening, even though everything is remote. If you go onto Handshake and click on events, you can see all the upcoming company information sessions. Go ahead and RSVP to those. These are very low risk ways of connecting with people at the company, learning about what they do, the type of projects, priorities, etc. But also they're going to talk about like opportunities in hiring. And a lot of times they share some really great information, including how to stand out as a candidate. So go to those. And then last but not least, join UCLA clubs and organizations. Quite a lot of clubs and organizations partner with employers already, and they bring employers into their meetings or they do joint events with them. And so you get exclusive access to these folks. The other thing is that, again, as I mentioned, UCLA is so complex and huge that a company isn't only, for example, going through the Career Center and posting on Handshake and coming to our fairs. That's just one way that they're trying to recruit you. They're also reaching out to clubs and organizations, especially if that club is made up of students that they're really interested in recruiting, to recruit from. And so it can only help you to join those types of organizations so that you can take advantage of those opportunities. Really quick, over to the side of the slide, you see, check them out, Parker, Dewey, and Forge. So for my Internship Curious or my I'm still looking, or just actually all of you, these are some not quite an internship, but skill development opportunities that you can take advantage of and put on your resume. Parker Dewey are project-based 10 to 40 hour paid, we call them micro internships. And then Forge is simulated work experience programs. They're not paid, but they are designed by companies around the world within the Fortune 500. And each one of them identifies learning outcomes and skills that you will learn. Both of these opportunities you can put on your resume. So I'm absolutely going to put information about this in my follow-up email to you. Those are my tips. There is a guide to remote internships within Handshake in the resources section. Pretty much all of us are going to be interning remotely. So this is a fantastic resource put together by the Career Peer Intern team for you. So you can go ahead and download that. I probably will just attach it to the email as well. But if you're curious, you want to go grab it now, go find it. And I think that is, everything. Here's a bunch of resources. I already talked about some of them. Which one do I want to highlight? VMOC is a new tool that we got for 2020. It is AI-powered, accessible 24/7 resume editing tool. So go ahead and take your resume and upload it in there, and it will give you suggestions on how to improve it. And what else is on here? Interview Stream. The other one I really want to highlight is if you're nervous about interviewing like I am, Interview Stream allows you to practice and record yourself. And then you can watch it yourself or you can share it with others. You can also ask it to ask you questions that are already built into Interview Stream, or you can program questions you want it to ask you and then record yourself responding to them. So super awesome resource that we have. And these can all be accessed within Handshake when you go to Career Center. Instead of clicking on appointments, just click on resources and you'll see everything there. Okay, so we are at 56 after. The chat's been fairly quiet, which I'm hoping is a good thing because this was so awesome, but I'm happy to stay a few minutes extra and answer any questions, as is Jessica. So feel free to type anything that you've been wondering about or maybe holding back on asking into the chat. And thank you so much to everybody else who attended and joined us today. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. I appreciate that. Hopefully you found this valuable. Jessica, I'm just going to see if you have anything that you want to add.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. I mean, good for you for, again, stepping into maybe a uncomfortable situation and joining me for this. I think maybe this is your first time, right?
I went to one with Mets yesterday, but this is like my first week.
Great. Well, all I'm really seeing in the chat is gratitude. So thank you. I take that in and I appreciate that from you. And also just thank you to all of you for investing in yourselves to spend the time listening and learning. I wish you nothing but the best of luck to make the most of your upcoming or future internships. You're going to rock it. And yeah, good luck with finals. Good luck with summer and summer internships, and stay safe and healthy. Yeah, just thank you so much, everyone. Bye.